Hello, everyone. We warmly welcome you all to our special program brought to you by Indian Achievers Forum. I'm your host, Vatika Singh. Indian Achievers Award is an honor that celebrates the people who went extraordinary to effectuate their aspirations and ideas. In this series, we emphasize not only on the struggles and achievements of the people, but also on the social contributions they made to their native land, India. Before introducing you all to our one such achiever, let's take a look at the small A.
Indian Achievers Forum is driven by a full-fledged advisory board. The board consists of experienced personalities who have excelled in their respective careers. Together, the forum organizes conferences, events, workshops, exhibitions, trade shows, and B2B initiatives in India as well as abroad. Where there is passion, there is achievement. And where there is achievement, there is Indian Achievers Forum.
Today we have with us Mr. Nishant Malhotra, who is the sole founder and CEO of the social impact startup Middle Road OPC Private Limited, a social enterprise enabling social change and impact within the society. Multifaceted and well educated, Nishant has a master's degree in public administration from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and MBAs from China Europe International Business School, Shanghai, China, and Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Pune, India. He has a BE degree from VIT Pune University. He worked extensively in the financial services industry. A prolific social enabler and a fitness enthusiast, Nishant is categorizing a continuous change within the global ecosystem. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for the invitation and the honor.
All right, sir. So before entering into the questions, I am very keen to know that how did this idea came into your mind of pursuing this particular business?
Okay, yeah. So the genesis of the idea came in during my sabbatical. I had taken a sabbatical wherein I traveled all over India and abroad. I went to a couple of countries in Sri Lanka and a bit in Nepal. During that period of time, I met quite a few people, and they're predominantly millennials. And I was very impressed by their enthusiasm for social impact, for well-being, for care for nature, and they wanted to do good things in life, the, which feel was the all aspects within the social impact sector. So I was very impressed, and post that during my before just going to the US, I went to Jared Ford School of Art Public Policy in University of Michigan for my master's in public administration, and before that I had launched my blog wherein I was writing. So this is very interesting and research focused, blog, and where I was writing quite a lot about economics, about I was trying to see just spiritual aspects as well, and which a lot of people appreciated, people loved it. And when I was back from the back from university, when I came back to India from the US, I was looking for a job. At that point of time, I decided, why don't I do something? Or some people had suggested, why don't you take it up, and try to do something of my own. I want to be an entrepreneur for a long period of time, and I wanted to do something for society. At the same time, I wanted to do something was an intersection between social good and for a financial gain. So I launched my for-profit startup. The idea was to have a learning experience. It was wanted to spread predominantly online learning through various facets. It could be publication, which I came in. I was very interested to come out with tutorials in education, some modules I took out. I came in through videos and podcasts. So it was across very diverse themes. I was fascinated by finance and economics, science and technology, well-being, art and culture. And sustainable development goals was something which really motivated me. And if you look at the whole the gamut of the things which I'm doing, it is loosely inspired by 17 sustainable development goals, but that was just the loose theme. I mean, I've incorporated much more aspects, and I wanted to integrate various actors on a common platform. So that was the inspiration, and that's how I started doing what I'm doing today.
It's really great, sir. Moving ahead, we know for a fact that starting anything has never been easy for anyone. So, what all were the challenging predicaments that you had to go through initially when you started?
Okay, so it's always been challenging. I'm still facing challenges, not like it's gone. But yeah, I had a lot of challenges because I was doing something which a lot of people could not associate. Very frankly, in India, we don't have a startup ecosystem for social impact startups. I didn't see much. I wanted to look at mentors. But I still have not been able to sort of connect with somebody who I think could have helped me. So, as a matter of fact, I went all across India and interviewed some of the leading social enablers. But when I was looking for consulting projects, I was not able to get. So it's been quite a few struggle. I mean, that's why when I launched my startup, there a lot of work is being done in India, but the whole vision and the mission of the startup is very global. So it's based in Pune, but the whole, if you look at in every aspect which I bring in, right from the tutorial section to if you look at the e-publication, every aspect was then it has a lot of global themes. So over a period of time, maybe I went much earlier into the global theme when I did see all these challenges. So I won't say that it was easy. It was not very easy to communicate uh, what I was actually doing across. I was not able to build a sort of an online community which I wanted. However, these things are a part and parcel, and you have to work things around and work on theory of change. You just keep working, looking at the outcome, but you take interventions to see if you could get the outcome you want.
Right, sir. So moving ahead now, I'd like you to tell something more about the product and services with which you cater to people.
Yeah, my predominantly what I'm doing is I'm creating a what I'll say a global thought leader platform wherein I integrate various actors from across different all the actors within the global ecosystem. I'll say specifically from the sustainable development sector, and I came out with my own learning experiences. Now this could be in the form of publications, which are very detailed publications. These could be all as high as also 4,000 words. Some of the publications, I'm not looking at the three big publications which I've done, but this could be also a lot of specific articles which are written with a mind, with the central theme of what sort of learning it is bringing in to my audience. I come out with videos and podcasts. Podcasts are designed in a way that I go to leading enablers or I go to social leaders and come out with predominantly policy thought leadership, or I come out with ideas which are enabling social change. So the whole idea when I'm looking at any aspect of my work, it has to have a educational motive behind it. There are times some of the podcasts might be very global. It might cover a much broader theme. However, the whole idea is to come out. For example, if you look at my last podcast with Dr. Chandrakant Leheria, it's very different. It was designed in a way to understand the genesis of pathogens. It covers a lot of aspects. It covers policies. It covers vaccines. We try to understand a different kind of vaccine. So it's a lot of education content, or the education motive is behind what I do. Now, the other aspect, of course, major part is what I'm trying to actually build is more of an ed tech, and wherein the third aspect is online tutorials. Now, when you're looking at tutorials or online modules which I'm bringing, they're highly educative. Are we trying to replicate or what you're taught in a classroom? It could be at undergrad or postgrad level. These are across different themes. For example, it is in finance and economics. It could be in statistics, impact valuation. The key is here is to not only bring to it's very what do you say applied learning, wherein I'm trying to give skill sets to people so they could have a career within the social impact space. They could also have a broader career, but the idea is that they have a career in international development sector. They get this knowledge. There's a skill building. There's also an awareness, and it sort of encapsulates a lot of existing themes. So that is the whole aspect. The further part which I offer is consulting advisory. So there's a whole gamut. Ultimately, what I'm creating is a one-stop platform which caters to right now to select to a lot of actors within the sustainable development sector or the global ecosystem. But I think as we go forward, more things will come in.
That's really commendable, sir. Moving ahead, we all have certain plans for our future. So what are your future plans with respect to the organization?
Yeah, one of the first plans is we're going to be, this is totally free until now. All the work, whatever is being done, is being free, and I'll be talking about the social impact when the social contribution and that section. Now the first is, of course, to make a lot of things paid. So that's the work is under progress. Certain sections could become paid. That is one. Second, I want to go to a global leading accelerator program. I think that's something which I aspire to be in, because I'll get a great guidance from there. I want to make my startup very global. There's been an outreach. One of the critical things which I'm doing is, which I keep doing, as a matter of fact, I've been doing it for quite a few long period of time, is that ever since I started, as a matter of fact, is to get partnerships going. And this, now I'm looking at international partnerships wherein my startup could collaborate. I myself, I'm in the working committee with Iris Jin. But if you look at a lot of work which I'm doing right now is like trying to get it more, increase the presence globally. That is one of my top end priorities, to go even more global than what I am, to maybe in distant future even shift my headquarters abroad. But one, of course, is to be in a, like I said, be in a top leading accelerator program.
Right, sir. So, as we know that you have studied in foreign as well, so how did your education in US, China, and Singapore help you in your role of being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so thank you. Thanks. That's a very good question. First, I'll go into two aspects. I'll go in both the technical aspects and I'll go into the qualitative aspects. And I'm very glad you brought in this question. First, it was a fantastic perspective for me. When I first went to China, I'd never studied abroad. I'd gone to one of the best business schools around the world, which was China Rope International Business School. Out there, I was able to meet an international diverse crowd. I got a very good perspective, not only of China. All these schools, when I went to Singapore, it was a fantastic experience because I had never, it was a different experience from China. And then I went to US. I always grew up hoping to, go and study in US, maybe even settle down in US. So one was to get a perspective. It gave you a guidance when you meet people around the world. You get a lot of inputs. You get a very top-down approach over how you do things in life. The other aspect was like you can build up skill sets. You could take up some courses which are very specific to certain domains. I was able to build on those skill sets in all the three colleges which I got. You have a lot of flexibility of electives. So you could take electives. You can around some of the courses. It's more prominent in the US, but a lot of schools, universities around the world are doing it. When I went to Nanyang Technology, NTU, Nanyang Technology University, it was the first time I had gone to a huge university, and it just dazzled me. I would never be able to forget my first experience. It just was the first time I had seen such a huge university before I went to University of Michigan. This experience, if I want to put it in a nutshell, gave me one of the most critical things. It gave me confidence. It gave me the desire to take risk. It sort of builds in a confidence within you that you can do things which maybe might not have done if I had not traveled abroad or studied. So it just changes your perspective. It gets you some skill sets. You got to know more about the global ecosystem. You know how people do it. For example, when you go abroad and you meet entrepreneurs, then you come to know, okay, these are the ways you can be successful. These are the things which you could do, which could be in a better way. So that's how I got a global mindset. So I would rank the experiences here valuable in there were positives and negatives, but I'll say there were the positive aspects which I have got seriously were the forward-looking things which I could learn. I could take the best business practices, take the forward thinking, which I think was some of the very critical things which I learned was a positive attitude of what you could do. And then I realized that these are the things which are very important aspects when you go and want to do something of your own.
Okay, so sir, first of all, congratulations on winning the Indian Achievers Award. I really want to know that what was the feeling when you came to know that you have won the award, and who all were the constant supporters in this journey of yours?
Okay, first I want to really thank you for giving me the award. It was actually a wonderful feeling. I was delighted. As a matter of fact, my whole family was delighted that it was a prestigious award. It's been there for 20 years. That finally somebody had recognized that my work, or achievements were worthy to showcase or to get amplified. So that was something really amazing. I was very happy. The second thing which I loved about your award is Sunil Shastri. He's the chief patron of Indian Achievers Forum, and I'm actually a diehard fan of Lal Bahadur Shastri. I think he was one of the greatest statesmen who was ever born in the world. When the award came in and when I saw it, I thought, okay, wow, fantastic. This couldn't have been anything better, because I'm deeply appreciative of what he did in such a short period of time and how our country could have been different had he lived longer. But just to sort of say, I'm not only deeply thankful to you, I'm grateful for the honor, but I feel like this was the first time somebody from India. I mean, I had my startup was ranked among the top 15 global SIFTech startups in 2020 by the Startup Pill. That's a publication, and it sort of came out of nowhere. But when this award came in, there's a wonderful feeling. I mean, and I'm thankful to you for that.
Okay, so sir, now since we know a lot about your professional role, tell us something about your social contributions also.
Now, if you look at my startup, there's a for-profit startup, but everything is free. So everything, I kept it free. I thought I'm doing something which is going to be enabling social change and impact. So when I talk about social change and impact, what I'm talking about the positive contributions which we are highlighting around the world. It's got a very scholarly research focus. So when I came out with my startup, I single-handedly from scratch, I built it up now. I mean, when of course, you ask about the journey, I'll say that the only person who was a bit supportive was my mother. She was there to a certain extent, over a period of time. Sometimes when I was down, she's the one who kept me going in. I would say not very supportive, but she did play a part if I'm going to be looking at somebody. So when I single-handedly put up created the platform, which a thought leader platform, which I talked about, it is it's been doing amazing work in the sense, let's look at as a one-person company. Now we have more than about 120 articles of publication. Some of them, like I said, could be as high as 4,000 words, and very research focused, brought in. There are about 15 hours of tutorials. Now, this is across different segments, macroeconomics, a bit in applied economics. You have statistics, impact valuation, and much more. You have a lot of, which also includes a lot of presentations. I gave 2 presentations with Atal Innovation Mission, which is a part of Niti Aayog, the flagship think tank of Government of India. Now, I came out with presentations, came out a lot of webinars wherein, we took deep dive to come out with the research focus of what was happening within the society. I interviewed people. We have a lot of podcasts, and in this podcast, I was able to get some of the leading social enablers and change. I amplified and showcased their work to the world, specifically what was happening within the social development sector, or I'll say within the international development sector. I featured one of the most well-known names like Anu Aga was there, Dr. V. Premnath, Mr. Ramanan was as one of the guests. Recently, Anu Prasad came in. I also interviewed Mr. Dr. Chandrakant Leheria like I explained to you, but in a very highly educated manner, going on deep into policies. Like if you look at Mr. Ramanan's interview, or also even Dr. V. Premnath, this is very, very in-depth. I also we did global, and there's always been an outreach for a global. Mr. Johnson starred in, Erica came in, Dr. Robert Karanja came in. He's one of the co-founders, Will Grow Africa. And I personally worked it, got people in. There were times I also recruited interns to do the work. There were 2 interns actually who worked for basically 3 interns, but 2 interns worked for 1 month. And a lot of my work, for example, if you look at it, I was an outreach partner for India Science Festival, which was then. So everything was done free. It's been kept except for the registration. Most of the things, everything we have done free. The podcasts are now across some of the leading platforms, which is done. It's been downloaded in at least 20 countries. The YouTube channel itself was open about 440 hours. We did marketing for it. I've used very limited digital marketing. So this year alone, it's been about 410 hours in 2021 with around more than 9,000 views. Just to give you a perspective, also a member of Gen Iris. Gen is one of the leading champions of impact investing space. And I'm a part of this working group, and I've contributed a bit, I would say not much, but a bit to the development of industry standards on some selected themes. So that is some of the work which I've been able to do. If you look at my startup, it's, I think the platform has been accessed in more than 80 countries. Look at the phenomenal amount of work which is going on. You have people from around the world looking at a lot of work which not only goes in India. I was one of the things, my startup was involved in promoting a lot of holistic causes. specifically during the pandemic. And during the pandemic, did a lot of research focused articles wherein this is very high end in research, looked at a lot of research data to come out with views. I also interviewed a lot of people for for the particular phase. We promoted some of the actors, especially in philanthropy, for this particular through my startup. So it was done through the social media channel. These are the contributions which I think were at this totally social focused. This free education, free publications. So you can read a lot about a lot of different topics. Then there's small global bites where you can read small bit about it, just to share a perspective.
That's really commendable, sir. Okay, so before concluding this session, you know that IF is followed not only by mainstream organizations, but also those young minds who aspire to be like our achievers someday. So, what is that one message you'd like to give them?
I would just say that go for it and try to be very global in your outlook. First, you need to know what you really want to do. You have to sort of focus on what you really want to do. You'll have to look at what your basically strengths or weaknesses are. It's better to do a SWOT analysis. However, I would say that you do not wait in a lot of things which you need to do. If you're passionate and you have been thinking, I keep meeting people that they've been waiting for years to do something. So if you really are so passionate about just going to the particular thing, a lot of people try to say that what sort of problem you're solving. You need not be worried about the problem. You just should be worried about what your solution or what actually value add you're giving to your audience. Your audience, you could say, or the target or the audience you want to cater to. That should be very clear what you really want to do. I think you should have a vision and you should have a very long-term perspective. And if you have a long-term perspective, you should be working towards that particular perspective. That is, I think, one of the critical aspects. You'll get a lot of naysayers. Now, India is full of, that's what I've seen. I think you should not look at them. You just keep going in. You should take an expert advice. You find out there are a lot of resources which are there on the internet, which are free. There are a lot of value additions on the internet which you can get free. I think you should follow that. You should be proactive in your outreach. You look at how many, if like for example, if you know you want to go to an accelerator program, you must know when you go into a startup how the startup cycle works. And if you're identified whether you want to go to incubator, then there are a lot of incubators in India which you could look at. If you want to go into global incubator, there are a lot of websites which will help you get connected with those incubators. Or you want to go to an accelerator program at a later point of time, you're looking at grants. So there are a lot of things. I think you just go on an outreach. Also, this journey is not going to be easy. It's going to be painful. There are times you might just get frustrated. You might be sort of ending up very despondent. You will be very sad at place. But I suggest keep going. It's always good to have somebody to help you. If you don't have anybody, that should stop you. So I just jumped in. But if somebody is there, be there. Be with people who value the work which you are doing, and you also value them. So that's both are very important. Now, how you're going to differentiate between the two, that's up to you. I would say that. And find champions. Find champions for you who could be doing it, and just keep going. I once saw a very famous video. Just announce what you're doing. I was very modest in some of the things which I did, but after I saw and from my experience, I've learned you must keep announcing what you're doing. You could have your own social media channel, but you can make a startup channel. Your startup should have some kind of presence in social media. It could be LinkedIn, Twitter, whichever you think. Some people have Instagram or Facebook, whatever you think. But keep announcing what you're doing so that it keeps coming out to the world. The world should know that what you're doing and what sort of vision or what sort of end goal or outcome you're working towards. You should keep announcing that, I feel. That's very important.
And that, I must say, sir, is a great piece of advice. Thank you so much for joining with us today. It was a pleasure talking to you. And we hope that you continue to inspire people of all ages forever. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. I appreciate for you getting me here and having a vote. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot and take care.